stand for pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call me number. I'll make a motion that we approve today's agenda.
I'll second that.
Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 1st.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meetings 10, please.
I've attended a lot of meetings here the last week, but there really weren't county related, so I didn't have anything too much county related. I have public health.
The DOT.
Yeah, it was at the DOT thing. I figured you guys would talk about that, so.
We had a conservation board meeting last night.
Yeah, I didn't make that one. I had an emergency at the shop and wasn't able to make that.
I have nothing.
One thing we had last week is DOT. I think it went well. There was a couple public comments. I thought participation was good. I think there was over about 100, what did you say?
That place was full.
Yeah. Looks good. We have a couple questions. Golf course turn off road that didn't show it having a turning lane. So we just got some discussions to do on it. Had Southeastern Regional Planning meeting. They're working on housing for Iowa, and there's some opportunities coming up. Hopefully it does come up. So we're kind of watching that, keep in touch with that. There was
Well, I thought it was nice that they put a clover leaf in down south of town instead of that stupid slip lane that they were. I thought that slip lane J-turn thing was gonna create more accidents than if they just would have left it at great intersection, but hey, who am I to say? They're the DOT, they know better than us.
but they went with the full diamonds.
Yeah, it's
We're pretty cool.
I thank them for that too. And
Yep, that'll help our
Yeah.
community, maybe help some
Yeah.
growth in that area too.
can't hurt.
Did they have turn lanes out at the highway across the sheriff's office?
They did, they had both
Good.
north and south. I don't know how long they are, but they need to make them a little longer for trucks getting slowed down and stuff like that, but. It looked like it was decent turning lanes, a lot of traffic coming in and out of that.
They got the washouts down to 2 bridges. So,
Yeah.
and which is basically just funneling water through in case it gets too high, I guess. I don't know why it wouldn't work. I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Time will tell. That's why they're called the wish outs.
Yeah, that's right.
Good point. Okay, what we got going on in public? Anybody got any comments?
I raised something at the conservation board meeting last night, and I don't know if any of them were gonna be here or not for that, but with the, and it's also related to Adam's comments coming up, but one of the things that the new alignment is going to be doing is gonna cut off the trail access coming from both Morning Sun and Columbus Junction. And so if that does happen, if there is a trail that's actually developed there at some point in time, the DOT should, or the county or somebody should at least bring that to their attention. It might help with the frontage road and the other things that are being discussed too, so.
When Adam gets here, we'll put that on his list.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Anybody else? Payroll changes. Let's see. Okay, no payroll change.
Let's see. We've been getting busy with flu shots, that's the season, October is one of our busiest months. We start flu clinics with area businesses next week. So we'll see how that goes with our new Vax Care system, this will be some of the first ones. We have given enough vaccine, we now have our buyback completed with Vax Care, so. Maybe that's all.
It didn't take long, did it?
It did not take long. Yeah, so that's one of our biggest things. We've started giving audits. That's something we do with all of the area schools. We go and look at every kid that's enrolled in school in county. And we look at every one of their immunization records. Make sure they're up to date. If they're not up to date, make the recommendations to get them up to date. We work with school nurses on that. So did our first one for the season last week, and a few more left to go, and then daycares come after that. So getting worked through those things. We do have a new employee who started last week, so this is week 2 for her, and it's going good. Flu shots are taking a lot of our time right now. So.
Is your handicap button, has it gotten?
We changed the batteries and then it still quits, like even right after we changed them.
All right.
It's
I'll
super,
be nice to hardwire that button, but we got a brick wall involved, so
yeah.
I'll see what I can do with that.
Board of Health meeting tonight.
Excellent. Anything? Thank you. Can we get that, Miller?
Jacob, you're here to address the supervisors, or just being nosy?
I have something to say about the Over Nature Trail along. But I think that's in Adams, which I believe
Oh,
you
okay.
were talking about as soon as I walked in.
Okay.
Well,
You're
I
in
back
I
in.
just wanted to have ignore you.
No, morning.
Morning.
Good morning. As brief as I can this morning. Busy last couple weeks, a couple months rather. We've gone up from, we've hit over that 300,000 mark for veterans and family members per month for compensation. The budget, we have 80% remaining. Saturday was the Veterans Appreciation Meal. It went well. I still have to submit the claims for that, so $1,800 or so. We have 22 in the nursing homes, 11 and 11. No soldiers relief funds have gone out yet this quarter. Fall school starts, the commissioners that are going to be attending will leave Sunday for their training at Camp Dodge Monday. And I'll head out Monday and I'll be gone through the 17th and I'll come back that evening. I'll be in Altoona. No issues with the van. The meal, we had 35 attended. You can see what we discussed there. And from that, I have 2 appointments. One is this morning, and the other one just said he'll drop by when he has a chance. So, any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kurt. Want to talk any more about that trip?
I can, if you'd like me to. Okay, so I don't have a color printer at the shop, so this is, we're gonna have to deal with black and white, and I don't have copies, but, I was made aware that the new highway, as I was looking at the pictures. For whatever reason, all the DOT pictures have west as up, so I kept that same format. I hope it doesn't confuse anybody, but Morning Sun's here, Waffle down here. This is existing managed Super Nature Trail, and then we have this parcel of land, coming into Wapello out here by the transfer station. The goal is obviously to come along the same right of way that the old railroad was. and then connect Morning Sun into Wapello and then, up to Cornish Junction. That's the idea behind our madness here. The new highway is projected to go right along this new parcel, or this parcel where we have the Hoover Nature Trail. I would like to see, if possible, while we have DOT already doing construction. The 4 lanes going over, it looks like 70th Street here, so if we could make this overpass wider for the access use of a trail, instead of having bikes, walkers, and all sorts of stuff later on. If we get this trail completed, we're gonna have to do more work anyway, so if we can make this overpass, or another way, like, this is just one option, but if we made this wider, so that way we can have the use of a trail along the side of the road here. So that way we can get under into Wapello, and then we can figure out how to get out as well using the other. But as Adam was here, and we could discuss options and realistic ideas about how to get it, but we've just got this trail going, and I hate to see it get absolutely stopped because of a new road construction. And
There might be room underneath there already, they might just have to do some paving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
because
And
usually there's quite a bit of shoulder room on that,
Yep, absolutely, and I just want to make sure that we were gonna get it.
so I don't think it'll be a high dollar item, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Good thinking.
Something to just, consider.
Think ahead, yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I handed around there,
Yeah, Sean's looking at the Miller contract.
we also have a full report for the auditor and the quarter.
We're gonna have to get after the auditor to sell more flat boats, aren't we?
I knew that was coming.
Hard to balance that one. isn't
I
it?
know it, yeah. I gotta come up with some stuff to sell.
You want me a motion to accept the auditor's report?
Well, I could, won't make it all in one, because you want to look at the recorders.
Hey, also too for meetings, we got all the BTUs for out there at the jail area complex. And we're going to set a temporary tank in, the repairs are gonna be a little long. So they're gonna they gotta buy another regulator, get a tank set up. Because there's quite a few BTUs out there, just to let you know that we're still working toward that.
Bigger regulator than normal.
Yeah, and we're at the regulator we use, we'll put on our tank when we're done too, because it has to be replaced. Okay, forgot about that, I just wanted to bring it up.
I'll make a motion to accept the recorder and auditor's reports.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Right.
Motion passed. Okay, and I have, Frank Miller's the one that put the boilers in out there at the complex.
Yeah, I have that thing here. It looks like they're gonna check them in February, May, August, and October. $3,900 is the PM contract. I'll make a motion to accept Frank Miller's preventive maintenance contract for the complex at $3,900.
I'll second that.
Any discussion, guys? I got some.
Yeah,
Well, why would you hire them to do it when you had to hire another company to come in and fix what they did? It was so screwed up that the hot and the cold in the building was, you had to hire somebody else to go fix what they did.
this is the new part of the building, not the old part. This is the rooftops, all the mini splits for the offices.
No, this is the new boilers.
Boiler, man.
This is new boilers. It's 2 new boilers. Menace put the air conditioning and stuff in.
So Miller's put the boilers in?
Is that in the budget, that cost?
Repairs, yes.
Okay. I mean, you saw what the ordinance last year about this, going and refixing and making it balanced, you know, because conservation was cold.
It's still not.
Lunchroom was so hot, you had to have.
Well, I think this got, Millard's put the boilers in, but they didn't do anything with the loop. And then we had them do it after the thought, it was replacing the boilers, so it really wasn't directly Millard's fault, it was a system
The
that's.
village couldn't fix it either.
We couldn't afford what they offered to fix it. The bid on that was like 100 and some thousand. And to put it all out and replace it, and we couldn't afford to do it, that's why we didn't do it. I know what you're saying, but it's an old system that we put new boilers in, trying to make it work. A little bit, spending just as little as we can.
But when they put the boilers in, they didn't update any of the controls or the pneumatics, huh?
We updated some of the controls, leaving the area going to the main one, but these are on the heaters itself. There's an air control on each heater. And we didn't have the money because it's pneumatics. We put a new compressor stuff in, hoping that would take care of it.
We're going away from that stuff. Well, about 20 years ago, they went away from that.
Exactly.
It needs to be electronic. Get away from pneumatic.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Jacob, here's your pictures, if you want them back.
Sure. Are you this morning?
So you guys are ready for me? You guys, okay,
You're right, Chris. This is for the rooftop units. Yeah. Yeah.
And the mini splits, the filters.
Go ahead.
maintenance wise, we are working on some patching, patching things. Also doing some mowing, brush clearing, rocking, blading when we can. Doesn't rain much, so. Can't get a lot of that done. Went to a DOT meeting on 92 last week. And they were supposed to be paving, I believe, yesterday, but that, as far as I know, that hasn't happened yet up there. So they're prepping and getting ready to pave. Sounds like they're gonna maybe not go as far as they thought they were, maybe like 17, maybe a little bit before or after that. And it's just a matter of how much transitional paving they have, because the new road, you know, doesn't match the old one, and there's a difference between putting 1,000 feet of transition in or a couple hundred feet of transition, so they're trying to figure that out. Obviously, weather has turned a bunch here, so I slow them down. So they're still talking like that they're gonna get it paved this fall, so let's hope that happens. I asked a question about the X17 drop offs and that shoulder roads. I was rather briskly told not to ask about it because it wasn't gonna happen until the paving was done, so that's that on that one. They still open, are they gonna open the road up for any amount of time before they tear the other part off? They are, you know, trying to get the wheelies there, and at the end, when they're doing that, there's gonna be a couple, you know, redos of X-17 to the north and south, right? And during those periods, there's the time, like there'll be a couple of weeks where the traffic will be down on the south one, going through Columbus City.
Okay.
And then Junction, and we all know that's gonna be an issue, so.
Yeah.
It's a deal where we're just gonna have to get through it, so. So that's that. The agenda item I had is the, you know, working on a response for the DOT presentation last week. Was gonna ask if you guys have heard any comments or anything that I add to it. This is the draft, so it's not with that, it's not.
Oh, the crowd was pretty quiet about the whole thing, I thought, and honestly, that night, they didn't really have a lot to add. There was a couple of people that stood up, but for the most part, I think it was just kind of well accepted and.
Yeah.
More curiosity. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So. My comments, first paragraph is kind of an introduction, and I'm saying that was, you know, generally well received. A couple items that I picked up on from discussions and got thoughts as well. The first, you know, item of discussion is the 40th Street H16 Golf Course Road intersection there. We had some questions about truckers getting across, you know, if that intersection could be widened to allow a truck to pull up and sit across. And then there's, my understanding is that it did not have a right-hand turn lane from north, turn right onto the Golf Course Road. They're told me in the past, well, there's a bridge, you know, bridges there to the north, and that would make that harder to put a turning lane there. So, again, I'm gonna keep asking on that until I'm told no. So, looking at other areas, probably not gonna get it, but we will ask. Because we've got that problem up at 305, so. Which has got kind of same thing, because there's a bridge something up there across the tracks, right? So I'm guessing that's.
Maybe you should take Mullenbrook, but he doesn't take no for it.
Yeah, sure. So asking for that, right, on the first one. On the second one, business 61 intersection. You've seen that thing that they have, and it's, you know, I don't know why this needs to be a big old curve like this. If they could take it, just square it in there, it would take up less land, probably give us a little bit more pavement here. I don't know why they're doing all this. It doesn't make much sense. So I was going to talk to them about that and just kind of make it a little bit cheaper for them. And the other part is asking for a connector road. You know, there's going to be a problem of grain and ag traffic coming in here, and they have to cut through town to get back in there. I mean, I suppose they could go down 61 too, but you know, I just having a little more connection to be better, I think. So we have one here, or if they wanted to, I mean, if we're gonna make it square, we'll be over there, but
That would kind of limit the growth of Waffalo. I mean, it kind of, Patrick's Edition can't go south now. It's put a road there.
well, they would just develop on the other side of it too, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yes.
Well, back to 40th Street. The. The double lane to go up over the hill is already a turning lane now. Why would they think they need a turning lane in the future? I mean,
Yeah,
I spend a little time at that intersection and
Yeah.
you see. Everybody pull off on the slow lane to get onto the road.
that's a good point too, which maybe they think it'll continue to function as that way.
Well,
So I don't know for sure.
It'd be an argument to help us maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Will that bridge, will there be bridges there or are they gonna put pipes on that new ones?
They're gonna put, bridges there, I mean, it's a. Pretty big creek there, so,
It's gonna be slid over too, so
it's gonna be west still a little bit. My understanding, I think both of those bridges there will have to be replaced, moved over to the west, just a little bit, make it fit.
well, what I was getting at is the shoulders are so much wider. I don't know why they couldn't designate that part right there for a turn.
Yeah, good, I mean, it don't mind to function as one, because it's wider, so. That's a good question, so,
Yeah, because that's gonna be wide bridges, so.
yeah. I don't know, I guess, had you heard any other comments, anybody in the crowd have a comment or something that we can?
Other than the Hoover Nature Trail stuff,
Yeah.
yeah,
What do you
I
have
make
to
sure.
say on that?
Well, it turns out I pulled up the wrong map, so, it looks like the same business 61 entrance here. Again, I just don't wanna make sure that any connection between Morning Sun and Wapello isn't cut off. Because that's the important part, is getting from town to town. People love going from town to town, so, whether it's slightly wider, pave is something or other, just get us off the road for sure.
So you're. Talk about using the proposed crossings
Yes,
as your trail crossings and just asking that they be made more. Trail or. Pedestrian friendly.
yes, absolutely,
Okay.
yes, some way, either under, over, I don't care how it is, but.
Yeah.
Be able to get through it all,
I think that would work too on the area north.
yes, on
Yeah.
that 5 mile lane, on
Same way, yeah.
yep. Just
Yeah.
out of Wapello somehow, just,
Yeah. Come back through it.
yeah, that'd be just awesome.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
No, we can add that onto it, so. Well, if you guys read through it and have any questions or comments, I probably won't send it until the end of the week or something, so. All right, anything else going on? Are there any questions?
Are they going to still close the K road down for a few days, end of October? The patch where they,
At some point, yeah.
you've never heard a date though.
No,
Okay,
I'm. Looks like, well, here in a week or so, we'll have most of our grain picked, right? So. Half it.
well, yeah, probably half there now.
Yeah.
The bridge on 99 open?
In Des Moines County?
Yeah.
I don't think so, no,
It wasn't Sunday.
okay, yeah. I talked to the engineer, and I think he said middle of October now, rather than the. End of September, so,
The next week.
yeah, maybe, well.
Well, it's, their roads are getting beat to death on that.
October should be over before you know it.
Well, yeah.
Adam, I think one thing we need to, is, with the bridges going out of town. Reiterate that,
Okay,
that we do not want that for upkeep,
okay, yep, sure.
because now it sounds like we might have 3 bridges to deal with instead of 2, I don't know
Oh,
how it's
okay.
gonna be. But we don't want that
Okay,
in our coffers for the future.
sure.
But might want to reiterate that.
Okay. What was their thought on the highway, on the washouts? They kept about a half a mile of Highway 61, but then they blocked off the rest of it. What was their thought?
Their thinking was there's public hunting ground there, especially after the. The mill race, right? There's a big entrance to the east. And they know that there needs to be. Remain access to that, and. We've talked about it a little bit, we're planning to transfer that to us. And we've said no, that there makes no sense to transfer it to us when there's no people there, there's no taxpayers there or anything. And so.
And it's state ground.
Yeah, so I don't think they've gotten to that point yet to think about it. I talked to our local DNR guy and he's had no conversations with anybody about it, so I think they are just not there yet, I think, but I can reiterate that when that discussion comes, this is our stance, so.
There's some private land there right by the river. I think there's some cabins or something. They still have access to get there.
That has access off of the new highway.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so.
I didn't pay any attention to that.
So when we talked to them or I talked to them, that this is. Probably just conversation I had was that, on one hand, we want as much access to private and public grounds as we can. Off of the highway, but the access shouldn't be maintained by us, cause we don't own the ground,
Right.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Mayor. At this point, Louisa Conservation manages a boat ramp right here. Is that still gonna be in the works?
Orange.
Oh, is that road then?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I believe the oranges are gravel drives,
Cool, awesome.
so,
Good stuff.
What else going on in the county?
Nothing like that, lots of deer and things like that getting hit out on the roads and animals now, so that's always fun. We did put out our temp driver job listing, and we've had one applicant. Who is a guy who applied before for a full timer, and he's probably. I actually offered him the job once and he got a better offer from his old employer. And so he's wanting to jump back in. That, and then I had a local farmer call me yesterday, so we're kind of. Gonna take some time to see what we have and figure it out, so. Cause there's not gonna be a lot of work, but when we do need you, we absolutely do need some. There's gonna be times over the winter when people get sick or hurt or have something going on and, it's hard enough starting with 19, and then if you're beginning to start with 18, that's a difficult situation to deal with, I guess, so.
And they have to have CDL.
Oh, yeah, Yep, for sure, so. On a job, with a
We already got the course.
So, all right.
Is there current plans for the highway, is it available online to look at, or?
Yeah, if you go onto the DOT's website, I think if you do a search for the Highway 61 Louisa County. It'll bring up a page for the public meeting that we had. And I think the day before the meeting, they posted this big PDF, and it's, if printed out, it'll be long, but you can kind of look at each section of it, so.
I have it, I can do it, whoever's asking for it, I have it on my computer, I can give it to you.
Yeah, Brad, did you grab that roll? Is it here or did you jump in the truck? Okay, so. Brad has this copy of it too, so you can look at it, so.
Sure.
Yeah, you'll need access, won't you? Anybody, anything else?
I forgot something. Okay. The Purple Heart Community proclamation. Scheduled for November 12th, day after Veterans Day. I have the high school band coming over. I'll set my tent up near the courthouse over there. The band is gonna. It'll be their first period, so it'll be early in the morning, around 8:30. I have that information, but that's I'll put something out in the paper today. I'll send it over. And welcoming, inviting the public to attend. I have a friend of mine, a pastor, that will come and do the invocation, whatnot, and just thought we should get that done.
What time will that be?
I'll send it out to an
Okay.
email to everyone. And I'd like to invite everyone from the courthouse. I don't know how you guys could shut it down, or if you guys can close the doors for 10 or 15 minutes to come in and attend, but I'm doing it that day instead of Veterans Day so that public offices are open. So,
Well, that's a board meeting too,
oh, it is
November 12th, so Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. Well, then you guys won't have to.
So it's gonna be in the morning.
It's gonna be first thing in the morning, yeah. Try to get the band over here, and make it as much of a thing. That's tentative. I can change that if you guys would like, and I can see what time the band could get together. Come over and talk to Jennifer Swope.
And it depends what time it is, we can
recess for.
recess for a little bit.
Or start our board at.
There's no reason it has to be very long at all, so.
Just keep your plans, we'll try to adjust them.
Okay, great, beautiful. Everyone is invited.
Anything else?
I got somebody that changes this and changed the last week land lock thing. And I talked about that a little bit. I want to apologize for leaving the meeting, but I had another meeting I had to go to, and I didn't know this was on the agenda or on this day, but I was already running late for that meeting. But we have an easement across there already. Now, we had it looked at by people, and everybody that looked at it thought it was gonna be here, and when they grew it up, they grew it in the bottom of a creek bed. So it's an unusable easement for the first 200 feet. After that, it's great. So getting involved in it now after 6 years, I don't know what the county was thinking about. I'm sure they're gonna get involved in it on down the road, but that's over a different matter.
We chose to stay out.
And I'm not sure. I asked to table it, and I'm not sure that I really would have liked to come here and explain some other details. Because part of it is, I believe Mr. Ball is using his position for personal gains or personal affairs, so. I'm sorry, but there's too many, I got a court order here that was at the end of May that the judge gave us. That the county attorney will not enforce. So, it was supposed to be enforced by 7 days. And here it still sits, and it's still not being enforced. Now, it has to be the county attorney. And Mr. Ball. So there's other things going on too, that Mr. Ball is leaving the board, so I'm hoping that will straighten out some things. All we're trying to do is fix something that the board did several years ago. It is. Merge. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Any more discussion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
What?
Worried about that.
That's too bad. They didn't worry about your.
I can't hear.
They say, they worried about the cabins getting access. They didn't worry about your access.
Well.
Sorry, I lost me.
They got all kinds of lines back there.
I understand. Cameras out.
But
Good thing I don't see that.
Yeah, I lost it.
It's
really good thing. You could have had it.
It's same clause.
Send it.
And you can move it, and the sound goes crazy.
We can hear.
No, we can't get nothing to do right now because it's
How-
the bottom of the.
I'm assuming it's.
the bottom of the ditch. But we're gonna take care of that.
Reports and how far back can you?
Yeah, every time there's motion, it records it and it sends it to the cloud. So I've got,
Squirrels and rabbits and everything.
yeah, but I haven't got any of them yet.
Oh, so it sends you an alert.
Yeah,
So if I go walk out there right now, it'll send you.
yep. So 2 AM comes around, somebody's out there.
now.
Oh, Sure, hey, somebody's out there. But anyway, this was yesterday, when we walked by,
Well, here's our out there on the.
or somebody walked by,
Oh,
it'll tell me that time.
it's gonna get a little like
26.
So this just ping at you? Just
Yep.
go ping?
Yep, I can turn it off.
I mean,
It's first thing it's up, like full day.
yeah, I know, and I'm going to cry wolf.
Oh, I
You're
agree.
like, it's just something out there.
And it very well could be, but
But during the day, probably no big deal, but you're right, at night.
Yeah.
Dark, it's the dark time.
That's it, I have it set, yeah. Yeah, why is somebody out here at 3 o'clock? And then, but this is all part, like, I could just turn everything off and then